Good morning, everybody. Well, at least it's morning for me. I had shown you on this book that I was doing that I found there are some spots in the spine where it wasn't holding real great. That's part of the reason why I try to get them where they don't have the folds already in them and kind of broke away from the spine. However, I liked the content of this one, so I was willing to deal with it. But I wanted to show you how I at least plan to fix that. Okay, so there's that one. I'm trying to find where my next chapter starts at. Okay, so that starts there. I'm going to go ahead and remove a couple of my pages, just like I've been doing in other areas, so that it's not as thick. Remove this one as well. I'm just folding up a piece of paper so I don't get glue all on other pages where I don't want it. My thoughts are, if I go through here and glue these pages down a little bit more and really get it down into the spine, hopefully it will eliminate it getting worse. This is really something kind of new. I've been fortunate and haven't had to do this yet. I'm going to try to keep this video a little shorter. One, because I don't know if anybody really wants to hear me just ramble on. And two, my husband's tilling up my garden, so I need to at least make it look like I'm out there helping. Okay, so I'm going to try not to mess up my spine anymore and stick those two pages together. Alright, that didn't... Okay, it kind of worked. So I'm going to use my gift card this time. Need a paper towel. My mom buys so many gift cards that I'm always like, I'm getting low on gift cards, save me some. And she's really good about just saving me her gift cards when she uses them up all the way. I'm just trying to make sure I don't do exactly what I just did. Okay, well, when I was trying to make sure I'm in frame, how I had done it before, where those two bubbled up just a little bit by the spine right here, I was trying to fix that, and I actually kind of pulled this piece away from the spine again. So we are going to move on to plan, where are we, like plan D at this point? Because if I would have just basically closed it up and let it dry into position, it wouldn't have done that. But it's not how I get down. I'm going to put that there. While I'm trying to glue this, I don't want it laying flat because I don't want it to pull the pages off or out any more than they already are. So I'm going to do this again on just basically glue 3 pages together because, okay, make sure you guys can kind of see this, because of me tearing that page away from the spine again. I mean, this is definitely not as, I don't want to say durable, because it is durable. It's not as easy to do not as easy to do compared to if you were doing a hardcover. A lot of times we just cut out the book pages themselves. They're also sewn in, so you don't have to worry about them kind of pulling apart like this. But it's fun. I like it. So I'm going to take my own advice and try to just get it to stick together like this. Because the first time I did an altered book this way, where I was using the book pages themselves and not just cutting it all out, I didn't pay attention to those little bulges, you know, bubbles where the two don't want to adhere to each other. And then it made my book a whole lot thicker than it needed to be. So that's why on this one I am attempting to be really careful to get out those bubbles. Alright, so I got those out. These pages are glued together. That should really help hold those pages in the spine without having them continue to want to rip out. Let me just get that smoothed down a little bit. I'm going to leave this piece of paper in there because I have just a tiny bit of the glue wanting to come out where it had pulled away on that page. Okay, a little bit of a pain, but it could be worse. I think, yeah, that was the only spot where I had that happening. This back page, it might have been the front page. Yeah, the front page, I'm kind of concerned about this as well. So I do want to keep this title page. I'll probably use it somewhere within the book to decorate it. And I cut down just some cardstock. Okay, I cut down some cardstock, but the wrong size, because that is not going to work. Hold on a second. Okay, let me try that again. And this time I'm just going to use thin copy paper. If you do cut it down to size, leave yourself some room, because with folding it, you use up a little more width than you would if you weren't folding it. I am going to, I really kind of want to only bring it over there so I don't lose that text. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm only going to bring it over to here so that I don't lose that text, but I'm going to show you on the back, because I'm going to do the same thing on the back of here. So I'm going to go for my rubber cement again. Slather it down. Sorry about my arm being all up in your way. But I am quite literally doing this the first time with you. I haven't done this before. So I am just taking it as it comes, trying to see what works and what doesn't. Okay. So la 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 la. I'm not worried about the paper that I'm using here, because I'm going to end up covering it. It may end up becoming a large pocket back here, because those are pretty handy. Pockets are always handy. I missed a spot down here. The nice thing about this rubber cement is, since it is pretty shiny when it first goes on, if you play around with your light source, it's easy to see where you may have missed some. It is way too early in the morning. I'm tripping over my own words and everything else. So Not worrying about it lining up or anything fancy, because once it's done, I'm just going to go around and trim it with a pair of scissors. Yes, I know, instead of a gift card, they make a brain tool that you could do this with. But I don't know. I have a really hard time spending money on something that I can insert bad word. That wasn't annoying at all. Okay. There's glue still on the back of this, so I'm just going to try it without putting more glue. Yes, everything I do comes out perfectly the first time. I never make mistakes. Yeah, right. I guess that's the nice thing about doing these type of videos, is that I know sometimes it can feel really, I don't know, intimidating. Like, oh, these people do it and they never make mistakes. Why do I make mistakes? Well, guess what? Everybody makes mistakes. I don't know of a person I don't know of a crafty buddy I have that doesn't make mistakes trying to make a journal. It's all about covering it up. If you make a mistake, just cover it up. Do something else. Roll with it. I say that, but I'm not very good at just rolling with things. All right. So what I've done is, okay, work and talk. What I've done is I glued it down to the back page. I'm now going to go through and glue it onto the back cover. Now you could do the same thing with fabric, prettier paper, any of that. I guess what I'm trying to do is kind of like how when you get a hardcover book, they have that first page that's kind of secured down to the cover. I was going to get glue all over the table. I think I'm horrible right now because I'm planning on refinishing my tabletop. So I'm like, oh, whatever, a little glue gets there. It's not going to hurt anything. If I rip that paper, it's not going to hurt anything. All right. After this dries and cures, I'm going to go back through and just put a little more rubber cement in there to fill those areas. So that's how I'm going to fix these two areas that are having a problem with the spine. Well, I guess 3. All I've done so far, guys, is glue down a random piece of paper to it. Put some lace in between the 2 pages that I'm going to glue together. So I got some of that. Oh, darn it. I did manage to finally get some fabric on. No, I didn't do a tear or anything. I just glued it down with glue stick. And then I just cut around the edges. Here's another one. It's going to be between, I glued it down between the 2 pages. So, and I'll show you why here in a second. I'll show you why right now. So it's glued down between those, glued onto that paper. I almost did the same thing I did yesterday and put the glue on the side with the lace. Don't do that. You guys should be yelling at me not to do things like that. Because I do the same things over and over. Like, put the glue on the other side of me when I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed and you guys are all sitting above. So I would have to, or I was having to, reach across and get right in your way. So let's do that smarter. I ran my brush down in the crack between the two pages. I just heard the tiller turn off. I'm gonna have to go put my plants in. Okay. Flip that over. That piece of scrap paper has glue all over it. So I'm going to be trying to be careful, and I would have just got glue everywhere. So we're going to change that piece out. There's a little embroidery piece right there. And I'm really going to have to play with this glue to get it to sit in there. Alright, well, I'll play with that later. I'm trying to find this other spot where I did something. Just a piece of the fake vellum paper. I put it over the top so you could write right there. Alright, I didn't get this done before husband got done tilling the garden for me because he's awesome. So here is the like faux yeah, that thing. But I just glued it between up here because these two pages are going to get glued together to give it more structure. Where's some other things I did? I did the same thing with just a piece of paper. There's a bunch of lace, go figure. I did, oh, this, nope, that's that. I did the same thing with a book page. I just took one of the pages from inside here. So these are glued together already. And what they'll do is you have that, and this will just be like a little flip out, fold out thing. So I think that updates where I was at on there. If you guys are doing this with me and you want to glue all your pages together or put anything in between that you want to do, that's not glued down yet, but that's going to get glued together. I'll probably do another video here in a few days on adding in pockets, maybe giving an update of how far or how little I made it in this process. Talk to everybody later. Bye.